Hey everybody, this is Travis. On this episode of Apathetic Enthusiasm, we are talking about the hit new game Apex Legends, and probably gonna talk about some D&D. I mean, what else do we talk about? It's a brand new Apathetic Enthusiasm.
Oh yeah,
it's abrupt cutoff. Hey everybody, I'm Travis.
Yeah, real good call on that fade out app that I'm using for soundboarding. It's like oh there's a fade out option. Oh, this is good.
We're doing it live. We're doing it live.
And they're like perfect. It's perfect. Then it's like da. Stupid dad.
We're learning.
App.
Things are
stupid app.
It's the app's fault. Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody to Apathetic Enthusiasm. I'm Travis.
I'm Brandon. Hey.
We are coming to you live through your podcast apps and also live on Twitch for this episode because that's a thing we're doing now. Also on YouTube Live and every other streamer we can think of.
And Brandon's Mixer at Steve_the_HEB.
There you go. If you want to follow this podcast along on our adventures, you can follow the show at Apathusiast on Twitter. I am at Jugglemino. You're at Steve the Heb. On Facebook, facebook.com/Apathetic Enthusiasm Show. Instagram is apathetic_enthusiasm. You can send us an email at apatheticenthusiasmshow@gmail.com. And then on the web, we are at apatheticenthusiasm.com. So welcome, everybody, to the show. And we have plenty of things to talk about. It feels like it's been a month since we did an episode, Brandon. But I think that's because it is. It has been a month.
It has been a month. What do we talk about last on here? I think we might have talked about cleaning up with Yondu Macarena.
It was tidying up with Marie Kondo. And my closet still looks fantastic, I gotta say. So
yeah,
the rest of my house, not so much, but my closet is looking on point. But yeah, I don't know. We talked about some movies. You like went and saw some random horror movies or something, but
I did. I don't know if that. No, we talked about Firefest. I remember.
Oh yes, that's right.
Yeah. But this week we are talking about something that is consumed our lives, and
that's probably fair to say.
And it's consumed a lot of others. In the week that it was released, it got like 25 million viewers, viewers.
I mean,
probably
users, players. Yeah.
But of course, we're talking about the Apex Legends, which is part of that whole Titanfall universe, and new battle royale game. So with that in mind, I mean, I'm fairly good with segues and transitions here. How did you hear about this game? Did I tell you about it, or were people talking about it?
How did I find out about Apex Legends? Well, it feels like forever ago. I mean, this game has been out for so long now. I found out about Apex Legends. I'm pretty sure it was through work. I think that there are there were a couple of people that tried it out, and then they liked it. We have a Discord server for my office, and I started seeing like one person playing Apex and then a couple other people like playing Apex, and then after that I was like, all right, well, I'll check it out. And then Kevin and you had both heard about it, and so then I was like,
that's me.
All right, we got 3. Let's get after it.
Okay. That's good. That's good. We started with PUBG. We went to Fortnite for like, I would say not even half a second.
I don't know that we've ever played a game of Fortnite together. Did that ever actually happen?
I mean, I played Fortnite for half a second, but then I gave it to my 7-year-old because I felt like he would be better at the game than I was. Oh no, I played with my brother-in-law. Yeah. Doesn't matter. Was there hesitation on your part when they came out with this new game and you're like, oh great. Here we go again.
Oh, the biggest hesitation for me was that I heard that it was even loosely related to EA, and that's pretty much a no-go for me. So
Yeah, that's fair enough.
And there was also a part of me that had heard some less than great things about Anthem, like in beta, and so at first I was like, new EA shooter game that started with an A. I didn't put two and two together and thought we were talking about Anthem, and I was like, oh yeah, I heard that game was terrible anyway. I'm not gonna try it out, and then realized that this was a Titanfall spinoff sort of title that was another battle royale shooter type game, and then the real selling point, free to play. I was like, well, what do you got to lose? Let's give it a shot.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly what it was. Like if I had to put any money towards it initially, I would have said, nah, that's okay, unless I had constant pressure from one of several coworkers. In which case, after maybe like a couple weeks to a month, I'd be like, all right, I'll do it. Let's go have fun, guys. But it would also require me to hang out with them.
Did it take a while for you to jump into PUBG? I feel like you didn't jump into that right away either.
I don't even actually remember how I got into pub. I mean, it was something that like we both started at the same time, right? Like let's.
Yeah, I was
talk
actually
about it?
I was like reluctant for a long time to get into PUBG. I think because it wasn't free to play and I had to drop a little bit of cash on it. So yeah, I had it in my like Steam wish list for, I don't know, like a month or two, and then finally one day I was like, all right, I'll just try it. And then I think we played nothing but PUBG for, I don't know, what, 4 or 5 months after that.
Yeah. Like we had this period where we just did, that's what we do. We were like, all right, cool, let's do it Friday nights. And either with Ross or occasionally with So Lucid, maybe.
Yeah.
And whoever else you wanted. Like there was a couple of folks from work that might have played with me. But there was always a kind of hesitation about doing the 4-person squad by myself.
Right.
Like one person is fine, 2 people, but 4 people? Oh, I can't do it. There's too much pressure. So when early, like 2.5, 3 weeks ago, people were like, hey, Apex, have you played Apex? Oh, Apex, play Apex, blah, 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 blah. Are you going to play it? I'm like, I'm not a really big battle royale guy.
Like, even though that's like all we played for a while.
I know, but I guess part of that was like Call of Duty. I think they came out with a battle royale mode, and it just seems to be this a genre that is becoming prominent, that every developer is saying, hey, this is really big, just like Horde mode was for a little bit on a lot of games, and still is, like Call of Duty with zombies. Let's add a mode like that to all of our games now. And so when I heard that Apex Legends is a new battle royale, I was thinking of just this wave, this tidal wave of the same kind of mode that to mow me over. But when my coworkers were talking about it, they're like, it doesn't feel like a battle royale game. It's the graphics, the movement, all of it. It almost feels like Call of Duty or a Battlefield game. It feels different, and that was enough for me to say, you know what, give it a shot.
Give it a try. I feel like now that we've been talking for almost 10 minutes, it would be worthwhile for anyone who like was maybe in a coma for the last week and a half, and is just waking up, for us to sort of explain exactly what Apex Legends is. This is a brand new game. It is a battle royale game. It takes place in the Titanfall universe, and there are a bunch of heroes, or there are 8 heroes in the game right now that you can choose from, each with special abilities. And as of right now, you can only play in 3-person squads. So you drop into a match of 60 people, and like in any other battle royale game, the last squad to survive is the winner. A couple of things that are unique about Apex Legends: one, each hero has those unique abilities, so the way that you build your squad, you can really sort of help the other players on your squad with those abilities. There are healers, there's more like support type players, and then just straight up more like attack type characters that you can play with. But yeah, so that is Apex Legends in a nutshell, and it is a game that came out of nowhere. I feel like the same day that the game was announced is the day that it was released, and within a week, they have, I think, 1 million people have played the game. So, or no, I'm sorry, 10 million players. As of this is on Apex's website. So that was in 72 hours, over 10 million people had played. I think they're over 25 million.
Yeah, that's what I'd heard. And within like a week and a half, they already had their first like Twitch streaming event for the game. Which is interesting how they did that. I think we could talk about it more later, but it wasn't like a controlled environment. They were just people going out, these prominent streamers, and playing with us, the scrubs.
And we are definitely scrubs of the game, that's for
sure. Of the description you had of the game, what about Apex keeps you coming back? What keeps you hooked?
Well, the matches start
like a 3-prong, like a fishing 3-prong treble.
So one of the things about it is, and I know we've talked about it on this podcast quite a bit, is I'm a big Overwatch fan. I've played a lot of Overwatch, and the variety of heroes in Overwatch is appealing to me. I like that there's a variety and that not every hero plays exactly the same. I wouldn't say that's quite the case for Apex, but definitely with their extra abilities or their ultimate abilities, definitely very different. For the most part, like all the players or characters control like the same way, and they're not grossly different. It's just those added bonuses that really sort of show their differences. So if you get really good at playing Gibraltar, you're not gonna, and then somebody else picks Gibraltar, you're not like screwed in that match because you don't know the mechanics of another character. So I think that's nice, but I do like that different aspect of it. I like that you have to play in squads, I guess. Like, I like playing with people. It's one of the reasons why we played a lot of PUBG, is because we liked playing in duos and we liked playing together. I didn't play a ton of PUBG solo, and if it's like a catch-22, right? Because on the one hand, if you only have 2 friends that are able to play at a given time, you still have to fill a 3-person squad, so you're gonna have a random person filling in with you.
Yeah,
but it works.
And hopefully that random third person is just exorbitantly good. It would just
way better than
carry you the entire time.
What about you? What is something that keeps you wanting to play?
When how I describe the game, how I've described the game over the last little bit, is it's like the perfect amount of the best parts of some of the battle royale games. In not even battle royale games, like amalgamation of like popular stuff. You already mentioned the abilities that each character has. The shooting is spot on, although I am not great at aiming.
There are certain guns that drive me crazy in this game, but sure.
Yeah, like the sliding is just a guilty pleasure of everyone. Um, but it doesn't feel like a an alpha game, right?
Oh,
Like
yeah. It
like
definitely
PUBG
feels like a finished game. It doesn't
yeah,
feel like something that they're testing to see if it could work.
right. If you're playing on PC, there are issues here, there, and everywhere with a little bit of the old cheating aim bots and stuff like that. But it is just it's very very polished. I really do like that there are variation in the characters, and being able to say, you know what, I don't want to be Pathfinder and grapple all over the place and zipline, which I do.
You do. You definitely do.
But I want to go to Bloodhound, and I want to be able to track enemies through the smoke and use their ultimate. Um, I really really like that because it keeps the game fresh, and it reminds me a little bit of you know like League of Legends, or where this this game developer model where they release characters periodically for you to pick up and with slightly new abilities, and then that becomes the hot character of the time. They haven't done that yet with this, but I fully imagine that that's what the direction they're going to go. Yeah. 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 um Yeah, I have been. This is my philosophy when when it's come to games in the last few years. If it's a free to play game, and that includes like on an iPhone or an iPad, if it's a free to play game and I give it a lot of time, if I give it more than 10 hours, 10-20 hours, they've earned some kind of money from me,
Sure. Yeah.
and I will support the developers in that way, because that's how they make their money. It's just like a couple years back. I say a couple years, but it's dating myself. When Radiohead came out with In Rainbows,
Yeah.
they originally released it with they released it free, and they said digitally you can download it. You give us as much or as little money as you want. And some people gave like $200-300. Other people gave nothing. They just downloaded it for free. I gave like $20, I think.
Yeah.
But so I mean that's the direction I go. Is, hey, they got they entertained me for a long time. I should support them in some way. A lot in many ways, like you should go to patreon.com slash apathetic enthusiast. uh,
I don't even think that's our
yeah,
Patreon, Brandon.
it's a well, I'm making a new one to from the Rick and Morty pod
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
address.
We're building a
Yeah,
new Patreon, but yeah, go check it out if you want. Currently
go to the
patreon.com/.
website. There's a button.
Yeah, there's a button. Go to the website. Anyway, yeah, I agree with you. I think I have probably paid enough into Overwatch to own 3 copies of the game because I've bought it on 2 platforms and bought plenty of loot boxes in events where I just didn't want to grind enough to go and unlock all of the skins. But
Yeah.
I mean, I could definitely see.
Are you gonna spend money
on Apex?
Yes or no? Are you gonna spend money on Apex?
I might. I probably will. There's a definite unforeseen drop off in a game where if like I didn't expect to stop playing PUBG when we stopped playing. We just eventually stopped playing.
Yeah.
Fallout 76 died way faster than I thought it was going to. So right now I'm enjoying Apex and would like to keep playing it, but I don't know, when that drop off is. But right now, the one complaint I've heard about the items in Apex is that they are a little bit higher priced than people expect them to be. Like they don't feel like they're getting the value for what they're spending, which I think is probably something that you have to finesse a little bit. Obviously, Fortnite has made plenty of money using their V-Bucks system and unlocking skins and having battle passes and all sorts of crazy things that my son keeps asking for, but I don't fully understand because I don't play Fortnite. I hate building.
Yeah. I'll say this about what my issue with their system currently is, and that is I go back to League of Legends. That is like my first free to play model.
Your first love.
My first free to play love model. And so their thing is you get points after every match, win, lose, or draw. You get like some Riot points, and then there's like the premium stuff that you would use to buy new skins, right?
Right.
But you can keep playing the game without paying, and then eventually get a new character. You can do that. But the way it is you keep playing, and because even if you lose, you get a few points, you're still making progress. And in Apex, the only way you get more points towards a character is if you level up. And maybe in the future when they have lots of characters, this will make more sense to do game after game, and you get a few points here and there, and you get some points for kills. But to me, that's what makes the kind of progression seem really drawn out, if you will.
Yeah, well, and I think it would be I'd feel a lot better if we didn't suck so much at the game, Brandon. Because there are a lot of rounds where we drop and get killed relatively quickly, and we don't get a whole lot of points, and then there's a slow progression to that next level. But yeah, and there have been times when I thought, oh, I could drop a few bucks and get enough points to unlock the 8th character so that I just have the option to play anyone and try them out. That first level where you have enough of the little points to unlock a character, it's a big decision trying to decide between Mirage and Caustic or whatever. Is that his name, Mirage?
Yeah. And guess what? I haven't picked a new character because I expect a new one to drop soon, and I'm saving my points for that.
You're still holding out for the 9th character to be the one worth spending your points on.
Let me tell you how many RP I have in League of Legends. I have so much that I just haven't. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want this character.
You're so frugal with your gaming points.
Yeah. The last thing I want to say about the game, and then I want to answer another question eventually to Porta Potty and Twitch, is the esports portion of Apex. And esports ready. We mentioned already that they are doing like kind of tournaments with it. I go back to this because it's like my glory days of being in Korea, but the League of Legends tournament, the World Championship for League of Legends, and just being in a stadium and people selecting characters, and they're like, oh, they're gonna pick Timo, and the crowd going wild. Um, and opposed to Fortnite, opposed to PUBG, where I mean all the characters are the same. They have no their abilities are the same. It doesn't matter who you pick.
Right. Yeah.
Um, just the excitement being able to be like, oh shit, Team Ninja is picking Bangalore. Oh my god! And people were like, yeah, Bangalore.
Oh,
And then like
they're
beating
they're
the hell
they're
out of
they're 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 mixing their Bloodhound with a Bangalore. Oh, huge strat.
oh, huge strategy. The Bloodhound is going to be able to use his ultimate to see the enemies in Bangalore smoke. If Ninja does it at the right time, we'll see how that pans out, Travis.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I get that. I get that. But I mean, there's opportunities for that, especially with the different heroes. I could see that being something that happens. For me, there's still a lot. We talk about the game not being an alpha, that it feels more polished than a lot of these battle royale games that have come out, but there are still plenty of issues. We've had plenty of games that we start up and then somebody gets kicked out of the match. We've had times where we're dropping into a match and then like somebody gets kicked mid drop. There've been plenty of issues.
And you can't reconnect. So yeah. So- yeah. Maybe. And you'll see how good we are. Oh my god, so good.
Yeah.
You
Yeah. How
we talked originally about on the stream having video playing of us of us actually playing.
I've been mixing it in a little bit as we talk.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, damn
yeah.
it. You've seen how bad we are.
It's
That's
mostly
all.
been just me dropping and looking for loot. So
Yeah, that's great.
that's pretty much how most of our games go for a while. So yeah.
Yeah, or we drop immediately and I get knocked. God. But here there are some just super exciting moments in that game, and maybe it's because of the way I play. Maybe.
Maybe.
Um. But like I'm a defensive kind of player, and so I run around, and you got if you knock, you get knocked, and then the team gets knocked. Oh, that's the other thing is rezzing. Like that's a really
Yes.
super cool thing. So, the one game that I've won was with you and your buddy Gil.
Yep.
Is it Gil? Huh? And you and Gil got knocked, and I ran, I grabbed your banner, I was getting shot at, and I was like grappling all over the place. I'm like, ah! And I took you to a respawn point. You guys respawned, and then you guys got knocked again. And I was like, oh no, 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 no. And I did a series of like dramatic dodging, jumping, grappling, zipping, and I rezzed you guys again. We got out of there. Um, and I'm sure you and Gil were watching and saying, "Oh, geez, all right, well, this match is over." And we ended up winning
We
that. And
yeah. Was that with Gill or was that with Steins? I don't
oh,
remember.
might have been this. Oh, it was.
How
with
many have
somebody
you won? You've won one.
Only one.
Okay,
Only
so
one.
then that was the one with Steins. That was yeah. But it was yeah. But we played a lot with both of those guys. So Yeah, the rezzing aspect I think is really great in this game because you don't have that sense that as soon as you get knocked or something, you know the game isn't over necessarily for you, and it again reinforces that idea of playing as a team, playing as a squad, supporting your teammates, and not, you know, if somebody goes into a fight, you should go into that fight with them, because even if they get knocked and you're able to clean up after them, you could still res them and bring them back into the fight. So I don't know. I think that's a really great aspect of the game, and probably one of the reasons why I've been enjoying it as much as well. So
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so that's what we wanted to say about Apex. If you have any thoughts on Apex, if you're playing it on PS4, Xbox, or PC, let us know. Oh, well, let me know. I have all three systems. Travis did not. So I will I will maybe play with you on one of them, and then you'll be like, "Oh, he is really shitty. He's not even joking about this. I don't want to play with him ever again. He's okay. He's like so on the talking on the podcast, but other than
yeah,
that."
yeah.
So let us know what your thoughts are. I wanted to answer a question here in Porta Potty over on Twitch. What do you guys think of Anthem? Travis, you know nothing about Anthem, so
I mean, I haven't played it. I know a guy who played it for a little bit and said it was a little bit trash, but I don't know. I can look at the Anthem website and say with confidence it looks like Destiny. Um, if you were to tell me this was a third sequel in the Destiny series, I would believe you.
yeah.
So I don't know. It's nothing that I've seen so far advertised for Anthem has me like,
Hooked.
yes, I want to get this game. It looks so sweet.
Enthralled. I I I agree with you. I wasn't impressed with the showing at E3. I thought it was generic kind of looking and a Destiny-esque type of game. There was an open beta, open demo. Strike that. Open demo,
Strike
not
that.
open beta. Before it released. And so I downloaded it. I played a little bit of it. The kiddo, the 7-year-old, he ended up playing more than I did. The I obviously we haven't played the game that much. All I can say is that I really liked the flying. It was really cool. There were, when you're out in the world in your exosuit or whatever it's called, and you're shooting stuff, it's awesome and it feels fun. When you're in the city, they opposite thing from Destiny, where Destiny you're out in the world and you're first person,
Right.
and
Yeah.
then when you're on the Citadel or whatever it's called, I think that's Mass Effect, you are a third person. Well, Anthem's the opposite. You're first person in the city. Um, and it was just so slow. I was like, I just want to get in my exosuit and fight, but I couldn't run. I'm like, oh, I'm just trying to get to my suit. That's as much of a critique I have of the game.
Oh, okay.
But it looks beautiful. It looks beautiful.
Hey, and that's what makes a game, is it? Right, Minecraft. Anyway, I realized we shifted gears to Anthem, but I just read a paragraph on this website before I was about to close it, and it's the 1 week recap for Apex. And this line says, "Don't forget, Season 1 kicks off in March, introducing the debut of our Battle Pass, as well as new legends, weapons, loot, and more." So there you go. If you're
Giving up them points.
if you're a Fork Knife fan and you love paying for battle passes, there you go. Apex will have you taken care of very soon, and I can start budgeting for that.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to Daniel over on Twitch. Hey, I'll play Smash Brothers with you. I still need to download the Piranha Plant. I have the download code for it.
Do you have the code? Yeah, the reason it's downloaded on my Switch is because my son would not stop talking about it. He's like, "Dad, I gotta play this Piranha Plant," and that's how my 9-year-old talks. So yeah, so we got the Piranha Plant rocking over here on the Switch.
Yeah.
Did
So
I tell?
send me your friend code, and I will beat you with
We'll
Mark.
friend it up. Let's build a weird, awkward little arena thing that they use on their multiplayer that we can drag each other into and have some fights.
Flashback to that episode a couple months ago.
I did I tell you about trying to fix my Joy-Con? Did we talk about that at all?
We didn't talk about that.
So I have 2 sets of Joy-Con, and my children, as awesome as they are, have managed to break the control stick on the right Joy-Con in each set. So there was a period where we at least had one right Joy-Con, and then both of them on the right side were broken, and we couldn't use them. So instead of shelling out another like $70 for more Joy-Con, I thought I would try to replace the thumbstick, which I am not a hardware specialist by any means. But I got a little kit on Amazon and tore that sucker apart. I have pictures to prove it. My warranty is definitely no longer valid on that Joy-Con. But I guess
this is a side thing, but I just want to say it sounded like you got a kid on Amazon.
Yeah, I bought a kid, and the kid came and fixed the
Tore it up
Joy-Cons for me. A kit. Yeah, and so I tore the whole Joy-Con apart. It was very interesting to see what existed on the inside of it, and I successfully replaced the thumbstick. Does the thumbstick work 100% of the time? No. Does it occasionally drift to the left? Sure. But my son doesn't seem to care enough, so he still uses it like all the time.
That's great.
And yeah, but I will not play with that.
My Xbox controller is starting to piss me off. Because Super Bomberman R is free for on Xbox this month, and one of my controllers does this thing where if it's not in like the perfect position, it'll go up, like whatever you're controlling will move up.
Yeah.
Well, in Bomberman, when you're trying to hide behind blocks, and Bomberman's like, "No, I'm running up now." Like, no, don't run up. I'm running up again. Like, no. There's a bomb up there. Now I'm running up. Like, no. So I need to fix my controller. But let me tell you, your story about replacing Joy-Cons reminds me a lot of my adventure of replacing burners on my grill last. And I think maybe I got this
podcast got real Jerry real fast.
I think I might have gotten this propane grill from you, actually.
Oh, was this the great grill swap of Hawaii 2014 or whatever it was?
Yes, I was trying to fix that grill up because I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna buy a new one. I'm gonna take care of the one I have. So I cleaned it out. I got degreaser. Oh god, I spent like 2 hours like degreasing that thing. Like, all right, oh, the burners are rusted. Well, let me go to Lowe's, buy a replacement burner. Oh, I forgot to buy a new grate. Well, this weekend I was trying to replace the burner and it didn't have the hardware. Oh, so I went to Lowe's and I said, I didn't get the hardware. And like, it's okay,
Lowe's is not a sponsor of this podcast.
We'll replace this for you. Just go get a new one. Here's your money back for now. And I went back and I was like, oh, now I need a grate. And the grill you gave me, this weird morphed grill, this not normal grill.
I don't even remember this. Was it like a cheap little like charbroil backyard? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You've probably spent more to fix this grill than I spent to buy that grill.
Well, you're on to what I'm going to say next is it's like 22 inches wide. No grate goes that far. And I was like, I could maybe weld some more metal. I could extend the distance. I was like, you know what? I could just easily buy a new shitty grill. And so that's what I'm going to do. That's what
Good.
it's
Good. You're
anticlimactic.
gonna go buy a new grill. Congrats,
It's
Brandon.
this is called a cold pizza story. Shout out to my friend Blake Wilson who said it's a cold story. It's a cold pizza story. And I say, what's that? And it's a story where he's like, well, you know, I had cold pizza.
Yeah. I mean, it's not bad.
It's like, oh,
It's just
wow,
there's nothing
great.
spectacular about it. It's cold pizza. All right, let's
Uh,
let's move on to the only other topic that we have to discuss about this evening, unless somebody finds something really interesting to talk about in chat. We're gonna talk a little bit about D&D, and have we even mentioned John's one shot in on this podcast?
I don't know if we have. I haven't released of John's audio. I've edited those episodes, the part 1 and part 2.
Mm-hmm.
I can edit part 3, or I probably will for him if he's interested in it. But we haven't released it. We haven't really talked about it. So we can now.
Well, I feel like
It's a D&D noobs time for you. It's a D&D noobs time for you.
Brandon, wrong podcast. We do freestyle theme music on our other podcast, not this one.
I was trying to get close to like mariachi.
That reminds me of every Mexican restaurant I went to as a kid. Anyway,
Whoa, racist.
no, not racist, just accurate. That's
Look, my last name is Cruz. I know when you, white person, are being racist to me.
okay. Anyway, so yeah.
Disclaimer: Travis isn't racist.
Okay. Not a bit. We played a one shot run by our friend John, and we say one shot. It took us 3 weeks to get through. But we used new characters again. Well, Kevin kept his same character from the previous one shot.
Gron.
And then I had a Dragonborn paladin, and you played Stenny, the halfling,
arcane
rogue.
trickster.
Arcane trickster. That's right. And I want to. We could get into the details of the whole thing. The basic summary: it was like a heist where we were approached by this guy who wanted us to steal a what is it? A silver falcon or something?
Silver raven.
Silver raven from this party, and we had to sneak it out of there. And I the story itself was good. I think that John did a great job of running it.
Fantastic,
But I want to talk specifically about the things that we may have done wrong over the course of the 3 weeks.
Oh my god!
And the reason I want to bring this up, like we're talking about this new podcast that we're interested in doing that really focuses on D&D, and this is one of those things where I feel like on that show, this would be a hot topic in like why we chose to do certain things and how those played out. Because at the very start of this one shot, most of us went into the game thinking that myself, you, and Kevin, we all knew each other. We were already in a group of friends or colleagues, whatever, going into this little adventure.
Well, so
and almost immediately you broke from that.
Well, I want to start off with saying yes, absolutely, I did, but we did your campaign, and I was pre-established friends with Kevin's character at the time, Lucius, and then we became friends with Biowak. John's character is dwarf chef. And then we did my one shot, and then you guys all kind of knew each other already as well. Then you were all kind of friends. And so going into it, I thought that it would be interesting to have a character who's not a pre-established friendship with everybody, right? Like what does that actually look like, or what does that feel like, or
Right.
someone who doesn't necessarily click with a group. And you and I had talked before going into John's one shot briefly, and we're like, well, we know each other, we're friends, but we never followed up on that. And so part of that is my bad because we didn't stick with that plan.
Right.
John and I, we've talked on and off about his um how he felt about it, because he planned the one shot based off of all of us knowing each other and you trusting my character Stenny, and because your characters would trust my character, that would get us into the heist.
Right.
And so that
Yeah.
kind of like started a chain of events that made your
You
character
you literally
Torin,
unraveled the entire game in your first decision. Is that what you're telling me?
in a little bit, right? Because what it ended up happening was your character Torin is an Oathbreaker paladin,
Right.
and he's not an immoral character. He's neutral good, but this guy Cyrus is asking us to steal a silver raven, and if you have no reason to steal this raven, why would you do it? It's against what your beliefs are.
Right. Exactly.
But if you were friends with Stenny, and Stenny's like, no, we should do this because I think this guy's a bad guy, then that changes how you approach the situation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I
Um,
had to spend almost the entire first session looking for a way to justify why my character would go through with this in the first place.
yeah, yeah.
Which I hated doing, by the way, because so badly I had wished I would just had rolled some sort of like I originally before picking the paladin, I had this warlock all planned out, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna totally like not necessarily be a good guy this time, and then
Yeah,
somebody was like,
and
we really don't have anybody that does any healing, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll play this paladin instead, and yeah.
yeah. Sorry about
It
that.
didn't work out. It didn't work out.
Sorry for influencing you in that direction. I knew that Kevin was gonna still play Gron, who he was at in my one shot. And so I just like made the point, like, you can do whatever you want, but I'm just saying, like, we don't actually have, like, if we get into the fights, we don't have any real healing. It's just kind of it's free for all. And my
Yeah.
character isn't a fighter necessarily.
Not that,
Um,
as it turns out, I did a whole lot of healing. I mean, I healed myself a bunch,
you
but
saved yourself a
I
lot,
was
yeah.
also like up front swinging my warhammer and knocking out murlocs. So
Yeah.
spoilers for anybody excited for this campaign.
So all right, we want to talk about things that went wrong with it, because a lot of things went right. John did a lot of really excellent descriptions with the characters and the places, and getting us talking to him offline. He set up a bunch of stuff outside of the main mansion where we were supposed to do this heist.
Right.
We're on an island, and there's a bunch of side stuff that we didn't get to that he had in place just in case we went that direction, with alternate paths to accomplish this heist. He did a really good job.
Yeah. No, I thought
he,
it,
he
I thought it was great. Yeah.
and he takes everything personally, so he's like, "Oh, I'm such a failure," which he is. I'm not
I mean,
arguing.
let's not downplay that aspect at all.
He's an awful DM, but he did good on this.
Yeah, no, he's fine. He's fine.
So let's talk about failures, or not failures, but things that we learned that we didn't like, or
Let's get into the real. Let's not skirt around this anymore, Brandon.
let's not skirt around it.
Because we got to end this podcast eventually.
That's true.
it was our third session. We were playing President's Day weekend, so we all had the next day off, and we were like, let's make a late night of it. Let's make sure we finish John's campaign, and it was probably like, I mean, I know it was past midnight when this happened.
Yeah, it was probably 1:30.
Yeah, and like we have successfully achieved our objective. We have not only stolen the Silver Raven, but we have escaped this party successfully, all alive, and we are on the coast of an island awaiting our escape boat to row across the lake and come pick us up and shower us with wealth for our outstanding accomplishment. And we're sitting there waiting for this boat, and I decide, hey, let's take a look at the item that we stole, just to see if we can figure out anything about it or learn more about it. And that is when you decide, as the arcane trickster that you are, to say that you don't have the item anymore, though it was your responsibility to carry it.
Yeah,
And
that's right. That's right so far. Yeah, accurate.
And I made a decision in that moment to get really upset about that because you said you didn't have it anymore. So me being a large, like 6-foot dragonborn paladin, and you being a small halfling,
4 feet,
Right.
4 feet high.
my thought was I would grab you like in one hand, just the mental picture I have of this large guy grabbing the little halfling in frustration and being like, "Show us the bird, give us the bird," and you being like, "I don't have it." I was expressing true frustration like that I experienced because it's late at night and all of a sudden there's this like curveball, like you don't have it. And I will admit that there were a series of times throughout this game where you were trying to mask things from myself or Kevin, or try to do things to hide things from us. And it was another situation where I'm like, like, why can't we just finish this? Why can't we just like, I'm not, and so it was really frustrating, and my character plunged your character under the water.
You're trying to waterboard steady.
I did. And then you started shouting at me that I was metagaming because I didn't believe you when you said that you didn't have the Raven. When I Travis knew that you should have the Raven still. So
Yeah.
And then there was a dice roll, and John said for you to do a deception check and for me to do a perception check. I rolled really low against you, and from that point, I believed you, and I believed that you didn't have it. And so for me, I learned a lot from a DM perspective about calling for that roll early.
Yeah.
and allowing the dice to make the decision on how that should play out instead of maybe what we did instead for a period of time.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few extra little pieces of that. Full apology mode. Like, I really I didn't realize how late it was, and I didn't realize, like, I had been drinking, and I was actually okay with the night, but I also had like house guests, and like when you have a house guest for a weekend, eventually it starts to wear on you in certain ways. So I think in a way I lashed out at you guys with my outburst about the metagaming stuff. And so I apologize on that. I think that like there were a couple different things that led up to that moment, not just on you, but Kevin also, as Gron, was like, "Yeah, show me your bag. I'm emptying your bag out now." I'm like, "What the hell?" Like, like, so because leading up to that moment, we had we started
We
the
had
session.
murdered a guard viciously. I can't wait for the audio on that to be released on the stream.
Oh, so good. John did a fantastic job on that. We started off in like a basement where we fought a rug and a mimic, a treasure chest that turned into a monster. And then we came together as a team. We pulled off this heist. We poisoned a guard. We murdered him. We escaped down into a basement.
Yeah.
Escaped it down to a basement. We killed some murlocs, and we were all doing this together. And then we get up to the North Shore where I use my thieves' cant, and I signal the rowboat guy to come down. And So although you guys didn't trust me all at the very beginning of the session, and you probably didn't stop not trusting me fully, we had gotten to that um and so there was just kind of a like a 0 to 100 feel. Like it felt like it escalated from like uh oh, you don't have it? Go underwater, motherfucker. Right?
And I think there was your perception of the root of the frustration too. Like, I think my character was already morally like at odds with himself about
Yeah.
doing that in the first place, and then for
And then
for
he
us to
murdered
be up
somebody.
there, and you be like, oh, we don't even have the thing that we murdered a guy for. Like, that frustrate, like, my temper elevated, and thus my character's temper elevated.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, hell no, like, this is not what
And it started like a real contention, but between us all, because then like Kevin was like, empty out the bag, and I was like, all right, sure. And then I looked at my
cast
inventory list.
illusion, go over
Well, I emptied out my bag and I looked at my inventory on my character sheet, and I was like, all right, sure. I take out the hemp rope. I put it on the ground.
Yeah,
I
you
take out
started
the feather.
naming every item in your inventory individually. Yeah,
I-
no, I recall, Brandon.
I apologize to John for being so passive aggressive, and also to you now, Travis, and Kevin if he's listening.
He's not
But
listening.
anyway, he's not. But the thing is, you know, in that we the whole thing came down to metagaming, right? And it really is such a fine and hard line to say, no, I'm doing this as Stenny, as a character. I'm not doing it as Brandon. I'm doing it as Gron, not as Kevin, because I know something, you know, beyond the game. As a person, I know how the game's working, so I'm going to use that to my advantage. And you know, for me to jump out and accuse you guys of that is not fair to you. And it you know, it shaped kind of how the rest of the night went, because I could see you guys on the webcam. I could see you and Kevin just pissed off the entire time. But let me tell you this: when I stole that fucking raven back from Kevin, out of hand, so happy. So
Yeah,
happy.
and you know, we should release the whole thing, or at least an abridged version or something. But in the end, it was just like, it was a disappointing finish. I felt like, for everything that happened, I don't know. It was weird, but a good, and one of those things that, like, it's a story that I maybe can only be told in a D&D environment when everyone is making it up as you go, and you know, you share the load in creating the story.
I do want to ask you this question. I haven't fully formulated it, but in your mind, do you think of a D&D campaign as something that you have to win?
I don't think you have to win it. No, I think if you have an objective within the campaign, as a player, I would like to achieve that objective. And maybe that's just my competitive spirit, but there was also a point where I was knocked down to 0 health and making death saving throws, and thought, all right, this is maybe, like, this is a bigger story. Like, this is what my character gets for getting into this situation with these two guys, and being willing to sacrifice his morals for this potential wealth or whatever, and he ends up dying for it. Yeah, and I don't know. Like, I think I think if the story is good, I think that is good. But I also think for us, it's a little bit different because we've been recording all of our sessions. We have this in the back of our minds intent to share our sessions with other people. So the way we play might have, even at a subconscious level, a little bit different feeling than a group of friends around a table for 8 hours on a Saturday or at a local game store that are playing, who know that experience exists only within their collective consciousness. It exists to that table and really nobody else. So, the people sitting there and experiencing it will remember the story, but and they will remember their victories and they'll remember their defeats. For us, we're also telling a story for an audience. So it's not just the four of us. It's also whoever decides to download and listen.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of well, so my character ended up kind of winning in the end, a certain extent.
Which brings up another thing, and I'll allow you to finish your thought.
No. I'll let you go because I know you have thoughts of it.
I definitely do not think that D&D is a game that should be played competitively. Right?
Oh, okay, that's not where I was going.
But so for me, if we have a party of players, I feel like you all win or you lose. And if you're not all winning together, then potentially, like, there's going to be losers, right? And so that you talk about that expression of, it's 2 a.m. and me and Kevin are resting our chins on our fists as you continue to mage hand this falcon across the beach or swim out into the ocean to try and, prolong your life.
So stealthy.
and we're sitting here, and really, like, there were moments, I will admit, where I wasn't having a great time. Like,
you don't have to admit it. I can see it.
Yeah, and so and to me, I feel like that is where, in D&D, that's when you're winning. If everybody is having fun and everybody is enjoying themselves, then to me, that is where you win. And that was my objective when I was DMing that starter set campaign. Was I want everybody to be enjoying themselves. So
let me ask you a question real fast. So North Shore, that's when I do like metagame. Oh, look at me, I'm a bitch. And then we go down south, and you get attacked on the docks, and then Gron comes down to the docks. At what point in time are you not enjoying that portion? Like, did you stop enjoying it at the metagame interruption? Was there any part in the final battle that you were like, I'm not enjoying this, and I just want to get this over with?
No, I mean, I enjoyed elements of that final battle. Although, again, at that point, I felt like we were no longer a team. We were no longer a team of 3. I feel like after that fight on the North Shore, it was me and Gron, and then Stenny. Like, and so and the reality of it was, I know you were experimenting with this character and you were trying new things, and so throughout the entire one shot, you really played as Stenny with only Stenny's interests in mind, and it was based on how your character was designed. It's how you wrote up their background. Everything was about looking out for him and not necessarily looking out for like his party, right? And so
when it came to money, because when we talk about the Stenny, like, didn't just like run away from you when you were getting suffocated by a rug. Like, he would help out in all these things.
Yeah.
And you could make the argument, well, he needed them to do the heist, potentially, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but but in the moment when Torin asks Stenny, "Hey, let me see the idol," and Stenny like checks his pockets and he's like where is it? Oh, I don't see it. That's that in that moment. That's him being like, I can just take this raven and I can go sell it. Um, and like these guys are safe. They can escape too. We can all escape. They just won't know that I have the idol, like because there's a pressure now from the guards who are searching for us to get off the island, right? So and it's
But
weird because
but but
he's
but
not trying, like
I
survival is the winning in his case, if that makes sense.
yeah, I just the way that a lot of it played out, and maybe it was again from that first session where you played at a distance. You didn't necessarily play with me and Kevin. You were like, oh, me and Kevin are going to follow the story hook and take the money that was given to us for fancy clothes, and we will go buy the fancy clothes as instructed, and then we will go to the point where we are supposed to be picked up for this adventure. And you're like, I'm gonna stay back, and then I'm not actually gonna I'm not gonna do the thing that you two are doing, and I'm not gonna do. And then like, oh, I will. The other part is like the midpoint. All of us were pretty much split up, and like until we started the third session, like almost the entire second session, it was not a party. It was like you're off doing your things to get a servant's outfit, and I'm
Yeah.
working the party to try
Gron's talking to Martin.
and for me that just, and no fault of John's, but to me I felt like us being split up like that, there were a lot of times where it was not me playing D&D, it was me listening to other people play D&D.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Yeah. So again, that is something that I, as a DM, would probably choose to try and avoid, is splitting everyone up and then having to manage time fairly amongst the players to make sure that everybody gets their fair share. So in the end, like when we like literally have beaten the final fight, we are in the boat to freedom. And the only thing standing between you and getting that raven off the island is a 10-foot dock that you have to run down and get in the boat with us. You make the decision to instead run away and go back into the island. And at that point, I'm like, all right, there's no winning this with him. So let's just go. And
so that's the thing. So imagine that this fight takes maybe 5 minutes, right? Because that's how long the rounds are. Like 5 minutes in game time, not 5 minutes in real time. You and Gron had just basically assaulted Stenny, right? You'd said, you're a liar. We're waterboarding you. We are. Oh, there's a raven. Give that to me. Taking it. Stenny gets the raven back, steals it back from Gron, and then even Brandon, Travis, Kevin out of it. Would anybody expect Stenny to get back on that boat with those two people?
Yeah.
The answer is no. Like,
and that's fine. I think that's
that.
fine, because I feel then that when we lost was when you decided to tell us you didn't have the raven anymore, because instead of allowing us the possibility of completing our mission, you took that away from us for yourself. And so again, that is the example of us not playing as a party and not looking out for the interest of the group, but you looking out for the interest of your character, even at the detriment of my character and Kevin's character. So,
right,
which is where the frustration comes from. Because then we're not just
and I get
we're not
that.
just playing against the game. We're not just playing against the DM, so to speak. But now we're also having to play against you.
Yeah, and my thing is like I didn't want to piss you guys off. I'm not like I wasn't like really like that wasn't like the goal of my evening to be like I'm gonna troll the shit out of these guys.
You did it though.
I'm gonna make it.
You crushed.
I'm gonna make them hate me. I did think it was funny. Also, like that's not my intent. Like I still want you guys to have fun, but I wanted to have fun in the same way that we have fun when we play Catan and Brandon is winning a game and you're losing. Like we still had fun on the journey and we got there and stuff still happened.
Yeah, but I don't have fun at
got long
Catan
this
when
road.
you win. I only have fun at Catan when I win.
Well, fair enough.
Let's get it right, Brandon. No. Well, and again, I think this is a conversation that again talks about the uniqueness of D&D and that it is unlike many other board games or tabletop games in that sense that it's not you're not just playing with tokens and dice and things like that, but you're also playing with people's attitudes and emotions and all of that stuff. So
so we're clear at the end of the campaign when you guys got on your rowboat and you rowed off, dejected and upset that you basically murdered a guard very gruesomely.
So gruesome.
Your characters have to deal with that for the rest of their lives. So if you ever come back to that character, which
I will not,
which I'm sure you won't, like you have a little bit of there's character growth there because you did something horrible for something very unhonorable, right? And then so it just as far as story and character development,
but I think
there's growth there.
There is, but we're not playing that part of their life and their story. We're playing this part, right?
You're right, but if you said, you know what, maybe I will, then you have even more to build off of. But that's not really where I wanted to go with this. The thing I want to go with
Stop trying to justify your horribly rude decision to lie to us.
With Stenny. Stenny is a thief, and his whole purpose was to steal stuff. And he went there with a thing to steal. He used you. It's a thing. You helped steal this thing, and in the end, he ended up going back because you would have killed him if we was on the boat.
You don't know that. You assume that.
And I don't know that. Kevin says he wouldn't.
Kevin would have. I wouldn't have.
So
I just wanted to see the bird, Brandon.
He ran away. He went and he made a risk to go back to Lord Barrister and try to decept his way out of it. And for me, I was fully prepared for him to die.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's gonna die. It's just what it is. What it is. But he didn't die, and I'm like,
yeah,
that's
it was a huge roll. You ended the game on an amazing roll.
If these characters ever continued, just think of how awful this history is. Like if they ever meet again, like I know it's frustrating for you, Travis. It's frustrating for Kevin. Although Kevin seems strangely happy afterwards. It's cool to me that we created these characters and created a fucked up backstory.
And that part of it is if you look at it externally as a story, sure, absolutely. I accept that rationale. I
understand your frustration.
For you to not for you to shout metagaming when my character gets upset that the entire purpose for why we are on this thing is now missing, and the person responsible for holding it, the person that has had a really questionable track record so far on honesty, like for them to be like, oh, suddenly it's gone, and for me to suddenly seem like it's absurd for me to be frustrated in that moment. That added to the frustration when you accused me of trying to not only express that frustration, but that I was doing it to like get around mechanics of the game.
Yeah, there was that moment, and this will be the last thing I think we need to say about it. Is in that moment, I think there was a few factors. It was late. It wasn't like we had pretty much been. It was on the downhill of the campaign at that point in time in all of our minds, and there we just all of us reacted in a way that maybe that was more of us than necessarily our characters.
Yeah, sure, maybe. And if you ever do that to me, Brandon, I will shove your head underwater. All right, that is
me. You gotta catch me.
That is an extremely extended discussion of our D&D session that we completed this last week. We will not be playing D&D again until we start our new campaign, which is a few weeks away. I will be back in the DM seat, and we will have a few new characters. Gron may be coming back. You're playing somebody different though, right?
Oh yeah, I'm playing Lou Gossett Sr.
Make sure you check out
a Goblin Bard.
All right. Oh, I'm excited.
Steely Dan's stepfather.
Yeah, that's a deep cut. So we'll be playing that and look for some exciting new stuff to come along with that as well. Thanks to those of you who are hanging out with us in the various chats and streams. We will hang out for a little bit longer to talk to you guys. But as for this podcast, that is a wrap. Thank you so much for listening. If you have not had an opportunity, head out to Apple Podcasts and review this show. It really helps others to find it. Thank you for those of you that have given us your comments over there on Apple Podcasts. And until next time, I'm Travis.
I'm Brandon. And
bye.
Also Stenny, and I'm gonna kill people. I need Dayton. Dayton. That's what it is.
All right. I have cut recording on the podcast side of it, but hey, thanks to Twitch, thanks to Mixer, Spirit World, cool setup in y'all's background. Are you talking about like our physical background, like this stuff behind us? Thank you for that.
You know what Spirit World. I for some reason I read that as, first of all, Travis hating me, but also cool setup in y'all's backyard. I don't know why I was like backyard. Cool. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, it looks like my backyard.
Yeah, no. And I didn't know if he meant like she, Spirit World. It could be anything. I didn't know if they meant like the background of like behind our pictures, but like outside of this square right here, which is the background of the stream is your old garage when we first started this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Years and years ago. Oh, but the toys.
Years.
They're talking about the toys. Yes. So thank you for, we got all kinds of stuff. If you haven't followed our Rick and Morty podcast, Interdimensional RSS, we talk a little bit about Rick and Morty over there. So yeah, many toys. Is the story still up on the Instagram of you highlighting the stuff in your background? Your merch story that you did on Instagram.
Oh, my merch story. I think it should.
I could just check. I have a phone right.
You can't. It's right. It's right there.
It's literally right here.
Literally, metaphorically, literally.
My son is saying literally all the time now. I'm pretty sure somebody at school started saying it, or that or some YouTuber or something that he watches says it. But he said literally in I think 3 times in 2 sentences, and I was like, stop, give me the definition of the word literally or you're not allowed to use it anymore.
I made my 7-year-old watch all 3 Final Destinations. I mean, there's 5 technically, but 3 of them are on Netflix.
As one
And
does.
then we watched Doom tonight, and then he was scared.
Was he
Yeah,
literally scared?
he was literally scared.
Hello, Crinkly Arc 40979. Happy
Oh,
night to you.
I love you.
Yeah, so if you go to
Crinkly.
apathetic_enthusiasm, one of the featured stories, the only featured story really, is Brandon's merchaganza from the things that he bought. I think from the Rickmobile mostly.
That's right. Yeah.
But also probably some other things picked up along the way. Let's see who else is hanging out with us. Porta Potty, thank you so much for hanging out. And usually unhappy. Thanks for listening while you play some. What were you playing? League? Playing League while you listen to us? That's a good deal.
Yeah, I can now, Daniel, I can play League and stream, but I only play ARAM, because people get way too pissed off at me if I play Summoner's Rift, because they're like, why are you choosing Teemo or Twitch, and you're mid? You're not supposed to be mid. You should be bot with. Doesn't matter.
None of this makes any sense to me, Brandon. I played League one time, I think. Once.
Well, that's your fault. That's your fault, not mine.
I played what's the Blizzard one? Here's the Storm. Played that a little bit. So.
Here's I was always what's StarCraft? Raynor.
Yeah. I don't remember who I played. Here's the Storm.
And that's the thing that's what I love so much about Apex Legends.
Is that what we're doing right now? Are we gonna go play some Apex Legends right now?
I totally need to edit this episode and release it, but yeah, let's play Apex.
Yeah, I don't need to do that. All right, we're going to take a little bit of a break, and then we'll go ahead and stream some Apex as well. So if you guys want to hang out on any of these platforms, we'll be back shortly, and we will play some Apex. So until then, we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.